It's time to get your geek on with Dave Vermillion.
Let me go ahead and we will bring on our second guest now. We had Bridget Garroway, the creative manager for Alamo Drafthouse, on last week. This is San Antonio month. I will have a guest on featuring a geeky part of San Antonio every week this month. And this week we are honored to have with us here in studio Rafael Garza and Mark Chavez from Heroes and Villains of Cosplay. Let's welcome them on in. Gentlemen, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Doing good.
All right, cool. Rafael, how you doing, man? You all right?
I'm doing good.
You're not getting like fear of heights or something? Because we're in our new studio now, and I know it's a little intimidating if you look down, man.
Yeah, you got a really nice view from up here.
Yeah, it's pretty good. All right, Mark, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
All right,
Been looking forward to this all day.
Yeah, you look kind of terrified though, man. You keep staring at all the planes out of the airport.
I don't watch planes that often.
You
it's
okay?
not my sport.
All right.
This is a treat for him.
All right, and have y'all signed up for the Space Force yet? You know, I'm volunteering, man. Send me up there.
Only
It's
when
good.
they have the ODSTs.
All right, there we go. Very, very nice. Okay, so what exactly is HAVOC, the Heroes and Villains of Cosplay?
We're a local cosplay group here in town. We initially got started. The core members of the group, we initially started as another group, and we all found that we had more than just the one genre love. Me particularly, I'm much more a comic fan than I am a Star Wars fan. So when I sat down with a few friends and started tossing on some ideas, and they were asking to start something other than just the Star Wars groups that we all found in town. So we sat down one day in my backyard. I actually had a barbecue, and HAVOC's kind of the brainchild of that little meeting.
It's funny how a lot of good things come out of barbecues.
Yeah.
And some adult beverages, I'm sure that were imbibed at some point. So that's all right. Well, that's very cool, man. So what inspired you to make this group that was not franchise specific? Because you'll see a lot of Marvel cosplay groups or DC cosplay groups, or of course, naturally, a lot of Star Wars cosplay groups.
Yeah.
But y'all really don't care. Y'all are just kind of, bring it on, whatever you want to do sort of thing. Where did that come from?
Like I said, mainly for me, it came to, I'm not preferred to Marvel or DC. Like, I like both. I grew up reading both comics. I have a particular hero from each side. Like, I like Cap from Marvel, and I'm a huge Green Lantern fan when it comes to DC. But it was the simple fact that not everybody shares the same one love, and I didn't think that I needed to make something centered on one specific thing. I wanted more people to be involved and do more of what they wanted to do, as opposed to being, I don't want to say
Genre specific.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, speaking of which, now Mark, I've seen you cosplay as a Jedi, and you can kind of cosplay as whatever you want. Do you have a favorite cosplay, or is it just kind of spur of the moment?
It's more of spur of the moment, how I feel that day, what kind of fits whatever event I'm doing. I try to mix up a bit of everything. I used to primarily do, I had a long list, Star Wars cosplay, but as it went on, as I became more of a member, I was just I should probably do more stuff. There's other stuff to do.
Notice your voice got really high there. So how does it, have you been in other cosplay groups before?
Yes.
What genres? So how does it feel, genre specific? We're not going to mention names or anything, but, genre specific versus just kind of whatever you want to do.
It's more you don't have to fit the mood, or you don't have to worry about wearing the same costume as somebody else, because it's always fun. It looks fun. Everybody seems fun, but when you're wearing the same when there's two Darth Vaders, you're just standing there like Spider-Man, just staring at each other. There's two of you.
Yeah, because I'm sure there aren't any groups out there where there's 5 or 6 Deadpools or 5 or 6 Harley Quinns all in the same one. So speaking of the Harley Quinns there, so y'all have quite a few female members in the group.
Yeah,
there.
we do.
Yep.
How was that? Do the mamas run the group, or how does that?
The group kind of runs itself. It's pretty. Everybody pretty much has a say in what's going on. I didn't want to do something where it's okay, you're the one person in charge and what you say goes. I wanted everybody's input. It was kind of the reason why I started the group the way it started. But no, they have their fair share, and it's a lot of times they're the ones who kind of give us the ideas for group cosplays, where they get 4 or 5 of us together to do one specific thing inside of the group. So yeah, that a lot of that, and then of course they're a big help when it comes to costuming ideas and material and stuff and what to find.
Now y'all are in and around San Antonio. Y'all live on different sides of town. You go to different sides of town for events and fundraisers and that sort of thing. But describe the geek scene in the city of San Antonio. I mean, Metro San Antonio's got about 2 million people. We're the 7th largest city in the nation. What is the geek scene down here?
It's definitely grown from the past few years. from what it's used to be. Like apparently, geek is cool. Geek is being cool now.
Yeah.
It's everywhere, even from our side of town. We're from like the south side of town, and we're starting to get our comic shops that are down there are starting to grow more. They're starting to incorporate more tabletop games, more of a bit of everything, so everybody has a piece to play. Like, if they're wanting to get into something, they don't have to travel across town for, especially if they don't have transportation. That was my biggest issue before, but it's given me more opportunities to grow into whatever little genre I decide to go into.
Now, Rafa, if you could describe the geek scene in like one word or one short phrase, how would you describe the geek scene?
It's awesome.
Thriving?
It's very
good?
much so. I mean, like Mark said, when I first started doing this about 6 years ago, it has grown tremendously since then.
And how does HAVOC fit into this scene?
I guess
we're open.
We
appear friendly. We're friendly people.
We appear friendly?
we appear friendly.
From the outside, from a
Appearances
distance.
can be deceiving.
Yeah, from a distance. There we go.
We kind of tend to branch out into a little bit of it all. I mean, the group itself does a little bit of everything. We have a LARPing part now. We do a lot of tabletop gaming, so we kind of got into that. Then, of course, there's the costuming part of it. So, yeah.
How about the events that y'all do? Y'all do various charity events, fundraising events, that sort of thing?
Yeah, we try to help out wherever we can. I mean, if anybody needs help or raising awareness towards any particular charity, we're always open up.
Give me an example of something that y'all might have done recently.
Wounded Warrior.
Wounded Warrior has been a big part of what we've done last year. And anything that has to do with any kind of cancer research, because it's touched pretty much every member in some way or another. It's affected us in one way or another. So anything that has to do with cancer research is something we always on board to help out with.
Now, Mark, what do you think the best part about being a geek in San Antonio is, other than the great breakfast tacos?
Meeting new people, like just being able to go out there and talk to people that I wouldn't normally talk to. I'm kind of introverted. Just being able to talk to people, getting closer to people with something that we have in common. That's always a good help. It helps me. Some of my greatest friends I have learned from this community that I've only been starting for about 3 years now.
Okay. Now, Raph, you run HAVOC, right? Yeah. I'm not messing. I mean, I know Pamela's the force behind that, but I'm just saying. What do you think the best part is about being the head of that organization?
Same. It's the meeting.
Keep in mind they're all listening, so you know.
Yeah. No. I think the best part about it is the friends I've made along the way, along the journey. I've made some really good friends. It's really fun to meet a lot of new people and get like all these different ideas and see different people's interests. And I've found a lot of interest that I probably normally wouldn't have expanded out to if I hadn't met all these people.
Now, the Star Wars fan base in general just seems to be in kind of turmoil right now. They don't know what they want. Yeah. They want the familiar. They don't want anything different. Last Jedi was very different. We don't want that. But Force Awakens was a lot of the same. We don't want that either. And if you express your opinion at all, you get shredded for it on social media. So
this is true.
What is your take on the fan base right now?
Once Disney kind of did away with the expanded universe, my personal thing was, okay, so I know I'm not getting what's already written because they're saying that's not real to the story anymore. So I think a lot of people should just, I mean, I kind of have mixed feelings about Last Jedi myself, but I went in there with an open mind, like, well, I want to see what happens. When I first announced Force Awakens, I was just excited that I was going to get to see Star Wars on the big screen again. And it was, a continuation from Return of the Jedi. So I was happy with that. But I just think everybody, I mean, you knew from the start that Disney did away with everything. Just go in open-minded and just see what it is. I mean, you're going to like it or you're not, but just keep an open mind. I mean, don't expect, already, so it's going to be different. So give it a chance and see what happens. Considering
Heir to the Empire started like 5 years, give or take, after Return of the Jedi, I seriously doubt we're going to get that since Luke is now officially, Mark Hamill's 30 years older. I don't think that was going to happen. Mark, what do you think? What is up with the fan base nowadays?
I think everybody grew up with their own side of it. Some older people grew up with the original trilogy. People about my age grew up with the prequels. They want something that's something familiar that reminded them nostalgic to their time or something to expand upon that, but they're afraid of what they're going to do with it. They're afraid that they're going to ruin some of the characters, that they're going to switch something up, or they're just going to add something that just doesn't really feel right. But it's a new trilogy. It's going for a new audience. It's introducing new people to Star Wars, which everybody can love. Everybody has a fondness for it.
I think a lot of the problem is that people have built up in their minds what should happen. And if it doesn't meet that expectation, which of course it can't, then they just flip right out and just shred everything. I like The Last Jedi because it took risks. It was different, and it challenged everybody as to what to expect.
Yeah.
There was a lot out there. It was like, I did not see that coming. And then all the buildup about whose Rey's parents were, and there's going to be nothing because she's just normal. There is nothing super awesome, cool about her. She's just, well, Stacey Ridley, so she's kind of super awesome and cool. But I kind of like that it was challenging us and pushing our preconceived notions. The problem is that we're also dead set in our ways. And if it doesn't involve explosions, lightsaber fights, and slave Leia bikinis, then then it's a garbage movie, and that's just all it is. So basically, I think the fan base wants a Michael Bay directed movie.
Yeah,
I'm serious.
I don't want that.
Come on, explosions, lightsaber duels, and come on, that's what he's known for. So, all right, now here's the fun one. I always like to end my interview with something fun, something different, something way out of left field. Mark,
Yes.
what is your guilty pleasure geeky movie?
I thought about this. I thought about this a lot.
If you say Batman and Robin, I will
Nope.
throw you
Oh
out.
God. Heavens no. It would have to be the 1998 Godzilla movie.
The Matthew Broderick one.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's a lot of fish. That one.
Yep.
What is it about that one?
I don't know. I didn't grow up with Godzilla, so I didn't really know much about him. I grew up with Gamera.
Okay.
I grew up.
Okay.
With
There you
I
go.
grew up with the other kaiju. So seeing this new and adding like this new monster going through the city, having like animalistic tendencies, just seeing little baby Godzillas. It played. I remember it was like a fun time for me as a kid, and I had all the toy. I had the toys for it too.
Nice.
And just seeing everything and just how this giant kaiju monster lives out, it's adapting to a new city and everything, and how it made its nest. It was very interesting to me.
Okay. All right, Rafael, your same question to you. Your guilty pleasure geeky movie.
I really don't know.
Come on, there's got to be that one movie that everyone rolls their eyes and they're like, really? You like that movie?
No, not really. I'm not really. I mean, I don't.
Oh, so you're a conformist, then that's what you're saying. You only like what everybody else likes. I see.
Raph admitted it's Condor Man. We all know that.
I could see that. I could totally see that. By the way, that is a good movie. I'm just putting it out there. Guy jumps off the Eiffel Tower. Okay, give him some credit. Really, nothing?
Nothing that actually like readily springs to mind. I mean, I thought about it. I was like, I really don't have anything that I'm not.
Okay, all right.
worried about
Then,
it.
is there a movie then that people love that you think is overrated? That you're like, really? I can't believe people like this movie.
Oh, the Godzilla movie that Mark just mentioned.
I stand by my opinion.
But then again, I grew up with Godzilla, so
It's
when
gonna
I
be-
saw
it's
that,
gonna
I
be a
was
rough
like, yeah,
car ride
no.
home. Gee, I don't know if y'all are gonna be speaking to each other when you leave now.
I stand by my opinion on that.
That's pretty vicious. Okay, all right. Well, guys, I love having y'all here. This is Rafael. We have Mark here from the Heroes and Villains of Cosplayer HAVOC. Where can people learn more about HAVOC?
You can find us on Facebook. We do a lot of events at Wonderland Mall.
Okay.
And you can find us out at either Brackenridge Park or Phil Harburger Park is usually where we have most of our practice days.
Awesome, very cool. Well, let's kind of shift things away from here and let's talk a little bit of Star Wars news.
I'm looking forward to completing your training. In time, you will call me Master.
And this is brought to you by our friends over at Dragon's Lair Alamo Ranch out there on the west side of San Antonio off of 151 and 1604. You know where all that growth is going on out there. Well, Dragon's Lair is also expanded out that way, and my God, did they expand in a big way. Yes, they have the comics. Yes, they have the graphic novels. But the events, the tournaments, the tabletop gaming, they have a wand painting class. There is so much going on over at Dragon's Lair of Alamo Ranch, an official sponsor of Get Your Geek On. All right, so the Disney streaming app, it has been announced, is now officially going to be, quote, substantially cheaper than Netflix. Okay, well, I guess that makes sense because the DC Universe app is like $6 a month. It's $75 for the first year, so $75 is about right. So I would hope that it would be cheaper than Netflix. Netflix is now what, $15 a month? I think about
Just about.
15 a month.
Yeah.
So if it were 10 a month, that would be substantially cheaper. And I wouldn't mind very much. That'd be fine. It will contain Jon Favreau's new series. It's a live-action Star Wars series that will be 10 episodes long, which is a little shorter than some, and will cost $100 million. That is 10 mil per episode, or roughly one Danny Green per episode. give or take, plus or minus. Yeah. Now, to compare, Star Trek Discovery cost $8 million an episode, but they produced 15 episodes for a total of $120 million. And now we know Game of Thrones this year is going to be like 20 or 25 million an episode. I mean, it's crazy. Of course, this is their last season, so that makes sense. Yeah. But wow. So the rumor is that this will take place after Return of the Jedi, but will focus on Mandalore and the Mandalorians. I don't.
I'm sorry. What has it?
Rumor has it. Definitely. So, guys, I know there's been a lot of buzz about the Mandalorians. Do we really need a Mandalorian series that's post Return of the Jedi?
No,
I feel it's gonna be a lot of politics, especially after the Clone Wars. How they were trying to go for this passive society from their old roots. It's gonna be a lot of politics, a lot of in-clan fighting.
I mean, I think initially when I hear that it's going to be about Mandalore, I'm like, oh, okay, pretty cool. And then I hear after Return of the Jedi, and I'm like,
yeah, no, I want to see that. I want to see something with. If you're going to do Mandalore, I want to see it like at its height.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
I want to see what made them such true warriors.
I really don't know. I'll admit, I really don't know much about Mandalore after Return of the Jedi, other than they're just kind of there. Can we see them fighting Darth Revan? Can we see that? That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'd like that.
Cool. I would like to see that.
So I have to admit, and a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, anything Mandalore! I want anything Mandalore, please, please, please!" But I'm.
I want them to show me what makes them such fierce warriors. Because, I mean, for the longest time, the only thing we ever got to see was Boba Fett.
Pretty much.
I mean, he just fell into a pit.
Yeah.
Here we go.
After 38 seconds of screen time,
so did the franchise.
Oh! Yes, Boba Fett, famous for turning over Han Solo to Vader and for being knocked into a pit by a blind man with a stick. So yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that. So I'm not too thrilled about that idea, and I've preached about this. If you've listened to our show for any length of time, you've heard me preach about the one thing that would make me jump out of my seat and applaud would be a series about the Old Republic.
Yes.
Nomi Sunrider, Darth Revan, Ulic Qel-Droma. This takes place for the unenlightened thousands of years. We're not talking like, a prequel before the prequels. We're talking millennia before the Skywalkers, before Darth Vader, before any of that. Mm-hmm. I would die to see that.
Yeah.
I mean, the comics went into that. Of course, the games went into that in a lot of detail. I would love that. I mean, is there anything that would be better than that right now?
No, I would love to see the Old Republic.
I want
that
to
would
learn.
be great.
I want to see the people who've inspired like the villains that we love nowadays.
Yeah.
The big thing about it to me also is if they do that, then you can't borrow from anything. Nope. I hate the borrowing. It's like, okay, we're going to do this Mandalore series, but Luke's going to show up at some point. Or Mara Jay's going to show up at some point. Or Han Solo will show up at some point. And I'm like, no, let it stand on its own. Mm-hmm. Please, if you go thousands of years backwards, there's a very, very, very small chance that Palpatine's going to show up. So I'd like no chance. Which is awesome. That'd be great.
Yeah,
that would be great.
What would be the worst idea for a series? The worst idea for a live, not the Adventures of Jar Jar Binks. Well, okay, that's obvious. Let's go a little less obvious. What would be the worst live action series we could see that they could spend $10 million an episode on?
I don't know about. I can't think of anything of the worst. I can think of the best ideas. I could probably think of that's not the Old Republic.
Oh, we'll get to the best, but let's go the other direction.
The worst.
Come on, if it bleeds, it leads. So let's talk about the worst here.
The workings of the Empire,
like just how the Empire, like a Stormtrooper saga.
It's gonna be Game of Thrones in space,
pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Less dragons.
Okay. Yeah.
That's saying something.
Hey, that would be pretty cool though if they incorporated crate dragons. That'd be awesome.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Okay, Raph, what do you think? What would be the worst live action series they could come up with?
Maybe besides another holiday special.
Besides another holiday special. A 10-episode holiday special.
Yeah.
Kylo's holiday special.
Oh, God, no.
Just the tantrum of Kylo. No,
The
no.
tantrum of Kylo Ren.
We are the knight to say Ren.
What would be the worst idea for a series?
Me personally, I think another Skywalker saga.
We're just done with it.
Let it come to its end.
Kill it if you have to.
They'll need a series about it.
The worst thing for me, I would not want to see a Young Yoda series. And I know a lot of people, they're going to start giving me flack here any minute now. But I don't want to know about Yoda's past. I really don't.
Insinuate, yes.
Yeah, shut up, Yoda. I don't want to know. I don't know what he was like 200 years ago when he was younger and, well, maybe reckless or whatever. I don't care. I want him to stay mysterious, stay in the past. I don't care. I would not want a Young Yoda series. But I think we can all agree a Gungan series would be the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
I want to see it. I'll fund it.
You'll fund it? Crowdfund it?
Yep.
Coming soon to Kickstarter.com.
So if not an Old Republic series and not a Mandalore series, what do you think the best thing we could get out of that would be? Best live action series. You said you had some ideas here, Mark.
Oh, I did. They were in there. I saw a plane and got distracted.
Not Old Republic, not Mandalore.
I would say some like the origins of the Jedi Order, or at least what it's grown to be. And maybe alternate futures would be cool.
Ooh, okay, like a mirror universe.
Yeah, I remember they toyed with the idea with the Clone War, not the Clone Wars, with the comics in the comic books and the old canon comic books. They were called the Tale series, and there's like little things, alternate timelines, or if something went this way, instead of Luke going to save his friends at Cloud City, he stayed and finished his training.
That's or if he had joined the Imperial Academy, he hadn't gone with Obi-Wan. That sort of thing. Raphael, quickly, we've only got a little bit of time. If it's not Old Republic and it's not Mandalore, what's the best idea they could come up with? You're killing me.
I don't know. I want to see something that has more, not like get away more from the Force, but do something more with the armies themselves, like the Imperials and the Resistance. I want to see more like. I want to see more.
So
of the
you would
fighters
want to
staying
see
in the fight.
like a series about the 501st, at their best.
Yeah, something like that. I want to see more like the dogfights in the air. I want to see more of the ship battles and the military fights.
Hopefully we're going to get that with Star Wars Resistance, which I think is the next animated series. So I think something like that would be really cool. A 501st, which is the Elite Legion. That'd be fun to see. I'd like to see that. All right, so we got a break for the bottom half of the hour news. I've had Rafael, I've had Mark from the Heroes and Villains of Cosplay. Check them out on Facebook. We'll be right back after the news break. We're glad you watched this video. We work really hard to put out some great quality content for geeks out there. If you liked that video, don't worry about it because there are plenty more out there. You can click right here to find more videos, more interviews, more clips, more fan theories, more of just really everything out there under the sun that we do. But you can also click here and mash that subscribe button because that way you just don't miss it. You get a little ping. You don't have to go digging for anything. We bring the news right to you. Just mash that subscribe button. You're good to go.